Welcome to Woods and Water Outdoors. I'm Patrick Corcoran. Been a while since we made some jigs, and had a couple of requests here recently, and a little bit more time on our hands. We just finished up track season here at our high school, and my daughter made it to the state track meet in the discus, so and I helped with that, and so we've been a little busy since about February, and so now we got a little extra time on our hands, and we're going to run some jig videos for you over the next several weeks. Had a recent request for some Cedar Creek jigs, which is local here in Texas around Corsicana, and so I was going to share with you the two jigs that I fished there the most. It's been some time since I've been on that lake, but we went about 4 or 5 years in a row, and these two jigs were the only two jigs that I ended up using and towards the end there. Didn't have a need to tie anything else. Both pretty common patterns, but here we go. So we got a Pearl White 16th ounce number 4 sickle hook in the vise. We're going to use 210 white thread. And this pattern here is definitely one that you want to have on you at all times, because I think it's probably going to be good just about anywhere you go. And so we're using green chartreuse neck hackle in the tail. Just 2 tips. And then we're going to add Chartreuse Krystal flash, 3 or 4 strands. Next, and then we'll finish up with Pearl Crystal Chenille. So it's just a white chartreuse. Real common pattern. And you can also use, a white pearl chenille or an all white here if you want to, but I think the pearl is definitely something beneficial in this particular jig. And that's pretty much it. I do know people fish Cedar Creek with this with a pink head as well. I always had more success on the white, pearl white. But I will definitely say with this pattern, you want to have this jig tied up with a white head, with a pink head, and with a fluorescent orange head. I have those 3 tied up in the boat all the time. Really going to be a pretty good pattern no matter where you're fishing, but the head color may change. And so there's jig number 1. We're going to do a 2 for today. Jig number 2. This is going to be an all chartreuse jig with a gold head. And a lot of times we don't put a gold head with things, but one of the ways that you can figure out what other fishermen are using on a lake that you may be unfamiliar with, which once upon a time we were unfamiliar with Cedar Creek. I just happened to snag a jig off of a brush pile, and it was an all chartreuse plastic with a gold head. So whenever the next year we went back, obviously I didn't have any of those with me. Next year we went back, I had me a little bundle of these tied up, and sure enough, didn't want a pink head, didn't want, with the chartreuse body, it was gold head. So that's what we did. And normally in this tail, I use a chartreuse baitfish emulator. I do not have any of that right now, or I couldn't find it one. So what we're going to use here is called Pearl Web, which is almost the same thing. It's a little finer material, but it's going to look exactly the same in the water. May not move quite as much, which is fine, but synthetic material comes in that type of hank there. Pretty neat stuff. I think you can definitely be used as a fiber that mixed with other things as well to create some translucency. And then we're going to use a Chartreuse Cactus, which goes really well with this gold head, makes that everything in this jig stand out and pop. And so and you'll see what I mean when you tie one of these up and get it in the water. Those are the two jigs that we fished on Cedar Creek Lake. And like I said, I went about 5 years in a row before schedule just didn't fit. Usually around this time of year, towards the end of May, beginning of June, is when I would be there. We'd shoot what docks we could find that had some fish on them still, and then bridges and brush piles. So fun lake to fish. Good numbers and good quality if you can find them. So Mike, thanks for the request. Hope these two jigs put the fish in the boat for you. And so we look forward to doing more videos and be on the lookout for them. Thanks a ton. Bye.